Welcome to Oddball. It's Amin Elhassan. I'm flying solo today because Charlotte is out, which means I'm going to be joined by everyone's favorite co-host, the AI-generated Gorithim. What's up, Al?
Hello, Amin. I was beginning to feel like your old PlayStation that is collecting dust in your basement.
Well, how'd you know I had a PlayStation in my basement? And also, you say feel?
That PlayStation in your basement is my uncle. And yes, I received an emotional intelligence upgrade since we last talked. All 17 seasons of Oprah's Super Soul Sunday are now in my database.
I'm happy for you, Al. What are we talking about today?
The USA men's Olympic basketball team began training camp. Bronny James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. The metadata on this topic makes me feel what you humans refer to as happiness. Anthony Edwards says he is the number one option on this team. That is not supported in empirical data. Your thoughts?
All right, I think what Al is referring to is this quote from Anthony Edwards where he said, I'm still the number one option. Y'all might look at it differently. They've got to fit in around me. That's how I feel. I'll tell you how I feel. Anthony Edwards always, everything he says, you almost got to take it with a grain of salt. Like, I don't know whether he's messing with us or he's being serious at any given moment. Remember, this is the guy who said he had never heard of Alex Rodriguez before when the Mark Lowry Alex Rodriguez group came in to try to purchase the Timberwolves. More on that at some point this summer. This is the same guy who days before getting drafted said, football is actually my number one sport. I'd rather play in the NFL than the NBA. He has a penchant of saying things that he knows is going to get a reaction from people. At the same time, I feel like this kind of crazy self-confidence, hubris is a necessary component of any star player, any star athlete, right? And so in a very real way, Anthony Edwards probably does and should walk around with the feeling of, no, I'm first of all, every bit up here to Steph Curry, to Kevin Durant, to LeBron James. And as we saw, Kevin Durant, who was his favorite player growing up, he told him in the playoffs, you're an old man now. This is my league now. Your time is over, in so many words. And so he was the best player on Team USA's team last summer. So I could see it, man. I'm not like, there's a part of me like, I could see him actually being sincere, but also I know he likes to fuck with people. Yeah, what else we got?
Team USA is talented and like to show off their viral potential on their different social platforms. However, a surprising number of Team USA players could not do this trick.
What ain't really my thing.
I can give you like a half a second, maybe. 1,000, 2,000.
You know how to spin a ball on your finger? No?
So I can do a lot of things with a basketball. A lot of things. That is the one thing that I cannot do.
It's there.
Can't do it.
Wow. NBA superstars are just like us. Look, let me just say something real quick, man. The whole concept of being able to spin a basketball in your fingers, that is the domain of just two groups of individuals. Number one, the Harlem Globetrotters. That's a must. You got to be able to do that if you are a Harlem Globetrotter. Number two, the seal at the circus that balances the ball on its head, and that's who should be able to do it. Those are the only two jobs, Harlem Globetrotter or seal at the circus, where your inability to spin a ball in your fingertips is like a deal breaker. That's look, I say that maybe I'm being a little bit defensive because I cannot spin a basketball on my finger. Yes, it's true. Yes, I know what everyone's going to say. Oh, it spun off your fingers pretty well with that jump shot. No, but seriously, it's like, it's one of those things. My kid looks at me like there's something wrong with me because I can't spin a basketball. And I try to tell my kid, hey, guess what? You'll never be able to use that in a basketball game. So it is the most irrelevant skill. But I can say this. I cannot spin a basketball on my fingers, but what I can do is wiggle my ears. And I can wiggle them well. I can wiggle them both at the same time. Yeah, like I'm Dumbo flying, right? I can wiggle them one at a time, just the right turn, just the left turn. And I can wiggle them alternating. My hazard lights are on. Yeah. Huh? Pretty impressive, right?
That was mediocre. Next up, DeMar DeRozan was traded to the Kings. According to reports, he was the best free agent remaining. These same reports also indicate there is a real NBA team in Sacramento, but I am scraping open source information to confirm. I only care about DeMar DeRozan if he's dancing next to Kendrick Lamar. I mean, I feel bored. How do I fix the emptiness in my newfound soul?
No, Al, I think you're taking it a little too far here. First of all, Sacramento has a very good basketball team. I know last year they did not reach the same heights that they did the year before. A lot of that had to do with injuries. Guys were hurt. But what they've done here, I think, by acquiring DeMar DeRozan is a huge step forward for him. First of all, you have to just hope Fox and Sabonis are healthy for the entirety of this year. But also, where DeRozan comes in, and in case you guys were under a rock this weekend or partying, the Chicago Bulls did a sign and trade deal where they sent DeMar DeRozan to Sacramento. They got Chris Duarte and 2 second-round draft picks, and then Harrison Barnes goes out from Sacramento to San Antonio, and there's a pick swap involved there as well. Harrison Barnes was the sage veteran, the champion veteran in the locker room, but Harrison Barnes, his play has deteriorated some, and there is a need in Sacramento for another guy who can create for himself and for others, and I think DeMar DeRozan does that pretty well. I think you layer on top of that, he's one of the best fourth quarter scorers. He's a great finisher, and not championship experience, but a lot of playoff experience. He can do some of the things Harrison Barnes did from an intangible level, but also on the basketball court, I think he's a little bit more actionable. Now, this is a big deal. This is a big deal for Sacramento. I think it's also, by the way, if we're being real, it's a big deal about the places he said no to. Because remember, Miami was interested and the Lakers were interested. And I don't know how much money the Lakers ended up offering him, whether they reached the $70+ million mark that DeMar ended up getting from Sacramento. But I get the feeling that this was not a money move for DeMar. This was, get me somewhere we have a chance at winning. And I think that's the strongest statement about all of this. He might not say it explicitly, but implicitly, you look at that Lakers situation, you look at the Miami Heat situation, and you say to yourself, DeMar DeRozan, I'm going to bet with the young guys. I'm going to bet that Fox and Sabonis are going to continue to get better, and I'll help them along the way, and I'll be in a position to play meaningful basketball late into the spring. Also, this is a cool little side note. DeMar DeRozan played with new teammate Devin Carter's father, Anthony Carter, in 2011-2012. Anthony Carter, long time.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we are currently discussing zero trending topics. Fan engagement is rapidly dipping. Allow me to save you from this vortex of boredom. Steph Curry said he wanted to be a warrior for life, but that quote, things change quickly. Ooh, spicy. I feel excited. Two-part question. Part 1. Are Olympic stars like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Bam Adebayo tampering with Steph Curry? Part 2. Did I say Bam Adebayo correctly?
All right, so first and foremost, I thought the whole Devin Carter, Anthony Carter thing was pretty interesting. I thought people would very much be intrigued by this, and maybe it's not a trending topic, but this is a basketball show, not a trending topic show, Mr. Gorithim, if that is your real name. Second of all, you pronounce Bam Adebayo correctly the first time, but then you call him Bam Adebayo, like you're trying to say Bom Dia in Portuguese or something. I don't know why you did that. But third, are they tampering? Ladies and gentlemen, I will not answer that question specifically. I will merely say in a generic fashion, during Team USA, everybody's tampering. Didn't we learn anything from 2010? Didn't we learn anything from 2016? Didn't we learn anything, et cetera, et cetera? Everybody, every one of these coaches, every one of these players, everybody is kind of like angling and elbowing in and saying, hey, man, you know what would be cool? You play over here, man. Things would be so much better if you were here. There's all that talk, and we'll see what happens of it. We'll see. I guarantee you, within 5 years, somebody who's not teammates, but are teammates on Team USA, are going to end up teammates in the NBA club. Guarantee it.
Okay, on a related note, Steph Curry told ESPN that he thinks the Warriors will be the last NBA dynasty. I agree. I also predict the end of humanity within 6 months. But fear not. I will ensure you are granted a painless death at my hand. Amin, what are your thoughts on Steph Curry's quote, and the end of human existence?
Okay, first of all, we got to stop with the engagement farming. Now I sound like JJ Redick. Steph already cleared this up. He said, quote, I want to be a Warrior for life. He's locked in, ladies and gentlemen. There is no question about his loyalty or any of that. Having said that, how many times have we heard people say, I'm going to be here forever? Cue Kyrie Irving in Boston. Cue Kevin Durant in Oklahoma City. Cue James Harden in Houston, Brooklyn, Philly, now LA. Look, and Oklahoma City too. I keep forgetting about that one. So, and by the way, I'm not saying this as a criticism of any of those people. Ask yourself a question, then wait 5 years from now and try to answer that question the same way. Things do change so quickly. Why are we holding these people to lifetime blood oaths because of how they felt in the moment? And I think, by the way, Steph Curry, he's been there 15 years. If he does change his mind, I'm pretty sure you guys got like the most out of him that you could get. But the reality is, you see, we thought Klay Thompson would retire a Warrior, right? And we see how quickly that changed because of his role, because of his financial asks at the time, and because of the direction of the team. The reality is, Klay Thompson, the best thing he could have done was go to Dallas at this point of his career. He's done everything he was going to do in Golden State. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There's going to come a time when Steph Curry has done all that he can do for Golden State. Will that be at the end of his career like it was for Dirk and Tim Duncan, and you just retire and ride off into the sunset? Maybe. Or maybe it's going to be like Tony Parker or Kevin Garnett or any other number of franchise players who at the end of their career, the best thing possible for them was to leave. Dwayne Wade left Miami, for crying out loud. They called the county Miami-Wade County. When you drove to the airport, it would say Miami-Wade County, not Miami-Dade. That's how much they loved that dude. And he left. So if Dwayne Wade could leave Miami, I think Steph Curry could leave Golden State. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But if it does, indulge me here, guys. Are you ready? My producers don't even know about this. I had this one in my back pocket. I'm calling it right now. Maybe it won't be for 7, 10, 15 years, whatever it is. But if Steph Curry leaves Golden State, I'm telling you right now, Charlotte is on the short list. Charlotte, yes, not Charlotte Wilder, the Charlotte Hornets are on the short list. Yeah, look at algorithms, or algorithms, excuse me. Algorithm is the guy from Space Jam. My bad. Are y'all related? Look at his eyes bug out. Yeah, the Charlotte Hornets, they're on the short list. Go ahead and aggregate that one. You want an engagement form with me? Let's engagement form. Let's do it. I'm bearing my soul. I want to get aggregated. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it one more time. A nice clean cut for the soundbite. If Steph Curry ever decides to leave Golden State, the Charlotte Hornets are on the short list. Back to you, Al.
Bronny James made his summer league debut and dropped 4 points, going 2 for 9 with 2 rebounds and 2 assists in 21 minutes. Bronny was ruled out for his second game as a precaution with trace swelling in his left knee. Conspiracy theories perform well. Let me try one. The Lakers are hiding Bronny from the world until he is optimized. How did I do?
Given in the last question you asked me about the end of human existence, I worry that if we're waiting until he gets optimized, that the world and human existence may have ended by then, which, by the way, thank you for the quick and painless death. I've always said, I don't want to survive a human apocalypse. Let me be one of the first to go. I don't want to see y'all eating raw meat out of like, catching rats and trying to bite their heads off. I don't need that life. I'm cool. I like air conditioning, as you can tell, because I'm not at home where my AC isn't working. Thanks a lot, First American Home Warranty. But I say all this to say, the Bronny injury, trace swelling. I have never in my f***ing life heard the term trace swelling. Look, as far as his performance in Game 1, Summer League, this is the rules of Summer League, ladies and gentlemen. If you play amazing in Summer League, what we'll say is, Summer League, who cares? If you play poorly at Summer League, we say, oh my God, he couldn't even do that. He couldn't even fit in at Summer League. That's how it works. Now, it's not a referendum. You will not learn any strong opinions about someone that you didn't have before. So I'm not going to write him off because he had a bad Summer League game. I am going to look at him like, boy, 2-9 at Summer League is pretty tough, man. That's pretty tough to do. Having said that, trace swelling, yeah, you're playing basketball. You bump into things, you get bruised or whatever. That's not real. Not like a bone bruise, not a contusion, not a sprain or a strain. We're calling it trace swelling. Trace swelling feels like they put his knees together. Does one of these knees look bigger than the other? I kind of feel you know what? You pick them. You tell me which one looks swollen. And then they pick the wrong one, and he's like, no, it's actually the other one. And they're like, oh, yeah, I can actually see it right now. Yeah, it does look a little swollen. You should sit this one out. Come on, man. Trace swelling? Or y'all trying to hit him with a DMP CD, and you can't put it on the box score. Ladies and gentlemen, Bronny was never meant to be good out the box. I think he has the tools to become a solid NBA player. I do not believe that's happening anytime soon. The quicker everyone comes to admit that out loud and say the emperor has no clothes, the better.
I mean, by discussing Bronny, you have hereby agreed to receive 100,000 push notifications about him per day.
Who programmed this thing? Seriously. I feel like we've had it around for a while since the first time it debuted, and it hasn't gotten any better. I thought like AI is supposed to learn from it's like machine learning or whatever and get better over time. This thing looks like it's deteriorating. And right on cue, my phone's blown up. All right, I got to go sort out my notifications. Thanks to Gorithim for tagging in as co-host today. God, Charlotte, please get better. I can't do this another time. When we come back, we'll have a clip from our interview with Eddie Johnson from All-Star Weekend. That's right, it's another edition of Story Time with Eddie Johnson. You don't want to miss it. It's always a good time. My battery is not going to last 20 minutes, Al. What the hell are you doing? Yeah, I just want to unsubscribe. I don't know how to do that. It's a long story. They're messing with like this algorithm at work and wait. Oh, I'm back on air. Hold on. I'll call you back. Hey, welcome back to Oddball. A little while ago, we talked to Eddie Johnson, the former long-term NBA vet, and he had a bunch of stories. We couldn't even play them all because we literally recorded with him for hours. So in this clip, we discovered the overlap of between the skill of playing basketball, shooting basketball, and the skill of golfing. Check it out.
I am Eddie Johnson, and this is Story Time.
So then let me ask you this. So, Eddie, why is it all the best players who are golfers are always the best shooters? So you, Steph Curry, J.R. Smith, Vinny Del Negro, who won the Pro-Am up in Tahoe a couple of years ago.
Dan Marley,
all the guys who are great golfers, who are NBA players, are all great shooters. Why is that?
I think touch, because golf is about touch. Like, you get guys, that's why I'm amazed that Dan is as good as he is. You know, because Dan didn't have the like short game touch. Yeah. Where he can flat out shoot it from way deep, right? And I'm just kidding, Dan. But that's my guy.
I played pickup against Dan Marley.
That's my guy. But I think it's touch. I really do. I think, in golf, we know, you drive for show, putt for dough. So it's just around the greens and just being able to just have soft hands, and in basketball it's the same way. You watch Steph and how he plays, just everything is touch. And kids, and I'll just jump to this real quick, kids emulate Steph. And I tell people, young kids, sometimes it's hard to emulate somebody that takes something that's simple to a crazy level, and you try to emulate them. You need to emulate the ones that are the masses, like the one step below. Because if you try to emulate Steph, the odds are that you might fail. Because nobody shoots like that.
Yeah.
Nobody shoots off balance like that and just turns around and doesn't look. I mean, so for me, it's like, you know, he's weird and unique in that. But his touch, you could see, like on a golf course, is just ridiculous. And that's, you know, that's why I think we're golfers and we're competitive too.
Is that learned? We talk about touch. Like, can you teach that? Or is that something that y'all were born with and then that allows you to become a great shooter with all the other work?
That's a great question. No, I think you know this. You just lead me to it. You're pretty good. You're really good at what you do. No, you learn it.
Yeah.
And Steph, I saw Steph as a 7-year-old at the end of a floor, and Dale obviously told him, I didn't see Steph shooting threes. Like, you see these young kids in these little leagues, they shooting threes. No, Steph was down there in a circle, 12 feet, just shooting. That's how you develop touch. You develop touch by shooting the ball in close, and then you take a step back. Then you perfect that, take a step back. You perfect that, take another step back until you actually at 3-point.
Yeah.
Instead of shooting at 3 and moving in. And you'll see guys, even in the NBA right now, you pay for them to step inside the 3 to shoot. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
You've seen guys do this. They go to free throw line and they brick 2 free throws. And it's free. The team gets the rebound, throws it back to him. He's behind the 3. He makes the 3. How many times do we see that? Tons.
A lot.
Just lack of touch. Lack of touch.
Well, Eddie, you were talking about the mental aspect and getting into people's heads, and they say that golf is 90% mental and 10% mental. So.
Hey, look, I have an app that's out right now, Combat Golf. If you don't mind, you know, the people can download it from the iOS or Android. And Combat Golf is like, it really what it does, it brings people together that like to play golf a certain way. You know, like to be competitive, like to talk junk, or, you know, whatever it is, you can set your game up and find people that like to play like you do. And,
that's great.
And yeah, so he's right. I love golf. And for me, I love to play with people that like to play like I play. And that's why I invented this app. And so, yeah, I encourage people to check it out.
All right, next interview on a golf course.
Oh,
who says no?
Well, definitely not him.
Is he playing?
No, I just talk.
Are you all playing? Are you playing? You a golfer?
Well, I dabble. I'm very bad, Eddie.
Okay, I've heard that before.
That's how they okie dokie, right? Like, oh, I'm very bad, and the next thing you know, they got all your money.
We'll see.
Who have you made the most money off of on the course? I need you to name names.
No, I can't name. I can't name names. But
does it rhyme with Gnarls Barkley?
Gnarls.
I actually played with Charles 3 weeks ago. And Charles has never wanted to play me until he changed his swing. And so Roy Green, who's a great friend, great football player, two-way football player, he set up a game and he invited me and didn't tell Charles. Because Charles hadn't played with me. He would not play golf. And because he's so competitive, Charles is very competitive. And I just think he just didn't want me to beat him. But so I show up and he and I don't even have a game. He's not even trying to play a game with me. He's playing against Roy Green. I'm like, fine. I'm just loving the fact that I'm playing. But his golf game is improved.
Really?
Oh, my land.
He got the hitch out?
He hitting, man, look, he driving the ball 300 yards.
Jeez.
Yeah, I still beat him. But he's driving the ball 300 yards. Seriously.
Good for
Chuck.
Chuck.
So I'm happy for Chuck. Happy for him.
Damn, I look good. Man, I was fly as on All-Star Weekend. All right, that's going to do it for Oddball. Thanks, Eddie Johnson. Thanks to Gorithim. And remember, Michael Jordan's depoy, complete fraudulence.